Today I'll walk you through the legal steps to setting up your healing practice as a business. And it doesn't matter whether you're planning to work online or in person and which modality you use. Maybe you're a hypnotherapist, coach, intuitive healer, energy healer. The legal steps you need to take are the same. If we haven't met yet, my name is Guzalia Davis. I am a hypnotherapist and hypnosis trainer with a certification board of clinical hypnotherapy. Now, before we dive in, I want to be clear, I'm not giving you financial or legal advice. Here I am sharing from my experience. I made my hypnotherapy practice official in 2015, and honestly I wish I had it done much sooner. Before that, my life was pretty chaotic and complicated. I didn't treat my work as a real business. I thought I was just sharing a gift. I thought this is what I'm supposed to do. And as I said, it made everything chaotic and complicated. There were no boundaries. People would stalk me when they needed my help, called me in the middle of night. It was difficult to collect payments for my work. And you can see it now. Why? Because I myself didn't take it seriously. How could I expect anyone else to value it? Everything changed when I decided to claim my role as a professional and made it official. And that is when my work became grounded, structured, predictable, and felt safe and respected. And that is what I wish for every healer. Take yourself seriously, make your practice official, share your gifts, and be respected for it and get paid in a way that is clear and sustainable. And now let's walk through the steps to make it happen. First, you need to register your business. Choose a structure for your business. Healing practice is a business. There will be money exchange, therefore you must register it as a business. Most solo healers choose to deal business as a sole proprietor or a LLC. Sole proprietor is the simplest. It will take you just a few minutes to register online, and you can operate your business under your own name. For LLC, you will have to register your LLC, and depending on where you are, a fee may differ approximately from $200 to $400. This is a yearly fee you will have to pay. It's not just a registration. You will have to pay it every year, so keep that in mind. It would be a smart move to consult with an accountant who will help you to choose the right business structure. But if at the moment you do not have any substantial income, LLC may not be that beneficial. You can start as a sole proprietor and change it later. I remember when I consulted with an accountant many years ago, he told me, do not worry about LLC until you start making at least $100,000 per year. But if you decide to form LLC, I suggest you think ahead. I mean, many years ahead. If you are a multi-passionate person, and all healers are, you may decide in the future start other businesses. Think of LLC as an umbrella for all of it. Maybe at first it will be only a coaching practice. Next, maybe you'll decide to add herbal tea company. Maybe then you'll decide to add a crystal healing jewelry line. So think of this LLC as a space to host all of your passions. But again, if you are just beginning, you can start as a sole proprietor and don't worry about anything else until your business starts growing and bring you substantial income. Then you can form LLC. To register your business in the United States, you simply type into your browser combined business registration. So you'll register your entire business in one place. Before that, we had to register in different places. State Comptroller, IRS, and there were a few other things we had to take care of. Now they combine this registration, making it very convenient. It will take you like maybe 15-20 minutes to register. Simply follow the steps, provide all the information needed. It's free. There shouldn't be any fees. And at the end, print out the confirmation and write down the federal employer identification number. You will need it often. The next step is to decide under which name you will be operating. As a healer, a coach, a hypnotist, a therapist, I suggest that you start under your own name. Then you don't need to register it. You simply use your own name every time, whatever form you fill out, any place you're registering or filing your taxes, where it says business name, you just put your own name. And there are few reasons why it may be preferable. It's easier to market, it's easier to remember, and there are no additional expenses to operate under your own name. Using a fictional name may be beneficial if you have a job, if you're working for someone, and you don't want that to be confused with your business. If you don't want to market your healing practice under your own name, if you don't want potential clients searching you by your own name. And another benefit would be of having a fictional name is if you are building this healing practice with the goal of eventually selling this business. And here too, you need to think ahead. Maybe right now you're just starting a coaching practice or a Reiki healing practice. But time comes, you might want another healing modality. Then that name is not going to make sense. So I suggest pick something easy to remember, but also neutral. If you are going to form LLC, you just form LLC with that fictional name. Then you don't need to file for DBA. DBA, doing business as. It's registering fictional name for your business other than your own name. And that is to additional fee, depending on the state, maybe from $50 to $100. You will need to check the business names database of your state first, because if you'll file and that name is already taken in the same category of business, you're just going to lose money. You will be denied and you will have to refile and pay again. Go to your state's business name database. The next step is to check your state's business license requirement. In some states, healing practice will require business license. I'm not talking about professional license here. This is for business. And in some states, it's under category of personal service and does not require a business license. Most likely you will not need it, but check it anyway. The next step is to set up separate bank account. It will simplify your finances, your accounting, and your life too. And if you chose to form LLC or operate under a fictional name, you will have to set up a business account. You don't have a choice then. You will have to set it up. When opening a business account, you will have to provide your business paperwork, your registration, your federal employer identification number, and your DBA registration, your business name registration. You see, that's another reason why it's easier to start as a sole proprietor and operate under your own name. Then you will not actually need a business account, although I still suggest to have a separate bank account for your business. Keep in mind that business account entails fees, monthly fees. Some banks will require you to hold a certain sum of money in your bank account. I remember when I had an antique shop and I had a separate bank account for that store. Bank required me to hold minimum of $5,000 at all times. And that was the best bank that suited my needs at the time. Some banks required much bigger deposit. But imagine I had this antique shop for 6 years. And these $5,000 were just tied up there. I couldn't spend it, I couldn't invest it, I couldn't do anything with it. And on top of that, there was a whole list of fees. Monthly operation fees for checks written, for checks received fees. This is expense you do not need. If you don't have money to throw away, start as a sole proprietor, operate under your own name, and set up a separate regular personal account. Sometimes you can set up separate pocket, they call it pocket account, that is attached to your regular personal account. But not all banks have it. So if your bank doesn't have it, just open another personal account that will not charge you any fees and does not require any deposit. And use that bank account to operate your healing practice. So it's not mixes with your personal stuff or any other business that you may have. Everything that you earn from your healing practice, deposit into that account, and also use this money to pay all your expenses. I suggest that you also dedicate a separate credit card. It doesn't have to be a business credit card. It does not have to come from this specific bank. You probably already have a bunch of cards. Dedicate one to the business. And from now on, use that card only for your business expenses. You will thank me when the tax season comes. It will simplify everything so much, I promise you. And the next step is insurance. You will need, you're not really required to have it unless you are going to rent an office for your practice. But I suggest you still get it. You never know what will happen. So it's a professional liability insurance, and it's not that expensive. And it will depend on the size of your business. Well, you're only one person. They will also ask you how many clients you are seeing. Do not exaggerate that number, because the amount you will have to pay depends on that. If you are just starting, maybe you are going to see just a couple of clients per week. State just that. You can always update and increase the amount later. Don't try to make your business seem bigger than it is. It may cost from $100 to maybe $300 per year. It's not that much money. The next step is to prepare your legal paperwork. Clients' intake forms, service agreement contracts, medical disclaimers. You may have to consult with an attorney that is experienced in that field and have those documents drafted. In my hypnotherapy school, I provide the templates to my students, and those can be adapted to any modality. So we need an intake form to collect all the information needed. We need disclaimer form that you are not a medical doctor and not diagnosing or treating any medical condition. You need a confidentiality policy form. You need a clear payment and cancellation form. Your service agreement should have a clear outline of what you offer, what your services and appointments may entail, and how much you charge. You want to have it ready before you start seeing clients, because somebody calls and you book an appointment. It may take you a while to figure out how to put all these forms together. And these are necessary to protect you and your client. And the next step is to set up your payment system, how you're going to collect payments for your work. Check out PayPal, Stripe, Square, and there are many other options. Maybe you'll choose to use apps like Venmo, Zelle, what else there, Cash App. Figure it out and set up your account. And you will need to connect that to your bank account, so when the payment's received, you can move it to your bank account. And you will need to set up some sort of system for tracking your money. The online payments and your expenses, those all will be recorded automatically, but you will also need to track your cash transactions. Maybe you're buying something with cash, maybe you're receiving cash payments. You'll have to record everything. And even mileage. When you're driving to events that are related to your business, maybe you're meeting your clients, maybe you are teaching some workshop someplace, you'll have to track your mileage because that is tax deductible. Set up a binder or maybe a box with a journal where you can write all the dates and amounts of your cash transactions, and you can collect all the receipts that you may have. So when it's time to file your taxes, you'll have it all organized in one place. And the next step is to check your local laws and regulations for your specific modality. Every state has its own rules and regulations for hypnosis, for body work, for energy healing, for spiritual healing. Make sure that you check it and follow all the rules. Even designations you can use, there too can be different rules. For example, in some states, I can call myself a hypnotherapist, but in others, I can only call myself a hypnotist. Each state may also have its own rules for disclaimers. Maybe you're required to display those disclaimers on your website. Maybe you'll have to add them to your agreement forms. I suggest you do it anyway, even if your state doesn't require that. You put your medical disclaimers on your website, in your forms, and even in your introductory videos that you will be posting on your website. Remember, you are not only a healer, you are a business owner, and when you claim that role, everything shifts. Well, I've covered everything I planned. If you have questions, please. Do you really need to register a business if I'm just doing a few sessions here and there? Maria, you still have to track all your expenses. You don't need to register unless there are some specific rules and regulations and pertain to your healing modality. If there are no such rules, you can offer these services without registering, but you still have to report your income and pay taxes. You still have to track everything. Why don't just make everything right? And then if there is an issue, imagine somebody refuses to pay you. How are you going to reinforce it? What is the difference between a sole proprietor and an LLC? A sole proprietor is a kind of default form of doing business, the simplest form. It does not separate your business operations from your personal. It does not separate finances. An LLC separates it from your personal finances. It offers more protection. And when you reach certain level of income, it also offers you more tax benefits. But again, unless you're making more than $100,000 per year, it offers no benefits really. Do you need a license or a certification to offer healing sessions? Well, that depends on your modality and your local laws. For example, coaching usually does not require any licensing. Energy work does not usually require. Hypnotherapy may require licensing in certain states. Massage and body work requires license in every state. There is no way around it. What disclaimers do we need? That depends on your modality. For example, for me, hypnotherapy, we cannot offer our services to people with schizophrenia, and there are some other conditions that can be exaggerated by hypnosis. The problem is, even though these people know it very well, they will hide it often. It happens often. They will lie to you. So I make sure that I have it on my website. I talk about it in my introductory video, in my greeting video, when this is the first thing they see when they come to my website. I have it in the agreement form. I actually made it a separate form so they cannot skip it. By signing this form, I confirm that I do not suffer from any conditions that can be worsened by the practice of hypnosis. This way, if they lied to me, I have the document signed and I am legally protected. I did my part. I followed all the rules. Now they are responsible for whatever they did. What happened if they refuse to sign the forms? Nina, then you do not provide any services. Appointments not going to happen. You see, this is the beauty of working online. Hopefully they read everything I have provided on my website. When they call me, I explain it all over again. And I say, I will send you paperwork. You are to fill it up and send it back to me prior to the appointment. If it's not done, appointment's not going to happen. Then following up our phone call, I am sending email with a preparation guide, with instructions how to log in for their appointment into Zoom. I do all my appointments through Zoom. And the forms. There is a whole package of forms they have to fill up and sign for me. And I repeat that again in the email. Make sure to fill up all the forms timely. Otherwise, appointment is not going to happen. And all the forms that they actually need to fill up and sign, I store them in the Dropbox. And in the email, I just share the link. They click on the link, they land in that folder with the forms, they type in their information, there is an electronic signature. And why I don't just email this form, I would just attach it to my email and send it. I cannot track it, I cannot see if they were open. With the Dropbox, I can see when, how many times the forms were open. And I have to tell you, I had it happen in my practice a few times. People did not fill the forms, did not sign them. They showing up for an appointment on Zoom. I remind them about the forms and they will lie. They'll say, I did not receive it. When I see my timestamps, they opened it few times. I know at what time, on which day, how many times they opened. For what reason are they lying to me? What do you do in that case? How do you handle it? I'll tell you, Nina, how I handle it. I don't confront them. I don't tell them that I know that they're lying. I just tell them calmly, please open that email. If you would like me, I can resend it to you. and fill up the forms because we will not proceed without it. They may argue, but once they understand that hypnosis is not going to happen unless they feel, they open the form, they fill it out, they sign it. It takes a while. Then I have to open the forms and read it, what they wrote to me. Because if they're on certain medication, I cannot do anything with them. If they have certain conditions, I cannot do hypnosis. I have to read all of it. By the time we're done, half of appointment is wasted. But this is not a single client I have in a day. I have people scheduled right after that. It's not their fault that this person is responsible. All appointments start and end on time, regardless of when and how a client shows up. So there is whatever time left, I use that. Of course, there is not enough time to do anything meaningful, but what am I supposed to do? I've done everything right on my part. That are adult people, hopefully making decisions in the right mind, making their own choices. And if they choose to sabotage other appointments, I can't do anything about it. No, I do not offer refund. If they book an appointment and I reserve that time for them, and I'm going to be paid for this time whether they show up or don't show up, whether they decided to participate in the session or just try to sabotage it. They bought my time and I'm going to be paid for it. Yes, Liam, exactly. Healing practice is still a business, needs to be operated as a business. While you may have all the best intentions and coming into that business with an open heart, ready to share everything you have, but you are still dealing with other people, and you have to be ready to handle different situations. You have to think through possible scenarios and set yourself up in a way you are protected. That's why you need to have in place clear policies. You have to think through the journey of your clients from the time they found you, landed on your website. How can they contact you? Is it a phone call, email, text, or maybe you are going to schedule those calls? How are you going to accept payments? Maybe you will invoice them, or maybe you'll decide to set it up as an automatic process where they can schedule appointment on their own and pay, like with Square. You can set up your calendar with your schedule, embed it on your website, and they see your availability. Click on the needed time. Maybe you have more than one service, they can pick a service. And in order to be able to schedule that appointment, they will have to pay for that appointment. So this is automatic. If you have problem charging people, many healers do. If you feel funny about money, if you're not comfortable taking payments, set your business structure in a way you don't have to deal with it. When I started my healing practice, well, before that, it was a chaos. Sometimes I would run group healing sessions and it's donation based. Never ever do this. People don't donate anything. And then when I asked for payments, it was hard too. People would say, oh, I forgot my wallet, I'll pay you later. And when I officially started my hypnotherapy practice, I too had problems. Those weren't already like friends or friends of my friends. Those were complete strangers. I was in business and I still had trouble like naming my price, asking for the payments when they would come to the office. And some people wouldn't show up for the appointment at all. So I had to figure out, how do I make it sustainable for myself? How do I protect myself so nobody wastes my time? So I started, even when I worked in the office and seen people in person, I started taking prepayments, full prepayment for the appointment. I made it so nobody can even come to see me in my office unless I've already got their payment. They book, I send them invoice, and I say, you have 48 hours to pay, or an appointment is not happening. They pay, then whatever time comes for their appointment, they come in. I don't even have to mention it. I don't have to bring the money topic up. It worked out well for me. And then with the quarantine, I transitioned my practice 100% online. All private appointments and group sessions and classes. Since then, everything is online, and that simplifies everything. The financial part, the safety, the sanity. So if you are just starting, I suggest from very beginning and just build your practice online. It saves you time, money, removes so many difficulties from your business. And then you can operate your business from anywhere. You can go on vacation, bring your laptop with you. I've done many appointments just with my phone because I wasn't home and I didn't have computer with me. But those were unplanned emergency cases. You can work from anywhere, visiting your parents for holidays. You can run your appointments. You can work from home, from hotels. As long as you have a good internet connection, you can do it. Well, I think we've covered everything. Let's wrap it up for today. If you'll have more questions, you can always send them to me. I'll be happy to reply. I just want to say once again, healing might be a gift from God. A healing practice needs to be operated as a real business. And the sooner you'll set up your business, the sooner you'll be able to offer your gift and be rewarded for it spiritually and financially. Wishing you best of luck.